Hello. Hello, Veronica.
Hello.
Welcome, everyone. This is the NgoVo Convo podcast. I'm Harrison, and I'm joined by Veronica. She's to this direction. It's over here.
He's that way.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
Nice. This is great. Veronica has no idea what's going on.
I have no idea what's going on today.
Yeah, we'll explain that in a bit. But we both just want an excuse to talk about anything that really entertains us, but really to clean up our never-ending backlog.
Which is never
Veronica,
ending.
it's never ending. But for Veronica, some would say that we're conversing.
Wow. Like NgoVo Convo, NgoVo Convo. Logo's right above Harrison's head.
Yeah. It's funny. It's great.
It's great.
It's great. Because you can watch every episode on youtube.com or listen to it as a podcast by searching up NgoVo Convo on your podcast service of choice. On this episode, we were supposed to talk about other things because on the docket, we had other episodes that were like, oh, we should review all these things. I'm like,
yeah.
And I was preparing for once.
But then I forgot.
No, yeah, because then I messaged Veronica. I'm like, didn't we already talk about this stuff? Like, it was like Kaiju 8. It was like
Delicious in Dungeon.
I was like, wait, we kind of gave our thoughts on this. You're like, what?
I didn't really think about it because I was like, because it was like a shorter version, like a mini review.
It is.
So
but
I
did feel like I gave my
head.
thoughts. Yeah, I was like, but I gave my thoughts already. I'm like, this feels kind of redundant.
Yeah. So I was like, I erased it, and then I was like, Harrison, just surprise me.
Actually, no. She asked me like last night and this morning, just so she can prepare. But I know how she is. And I was like, nah.
Well, I guess I'm sprouting BS today.
Yeah. Think on your feet.
Yeah.
It's funny. So I talked about how we were watching all these things, right? And we've talked about it in the past about how to do, like, I think we've talked about media, like how media is like released now, like theatrical, like shows and like our thoughts on like how we like to watch things. And if we haven't, I saw this article and it made a very good point in that it's fun to see from a business standpoint, like studio wise. I think someone was like, I saw this article and let me see. It was from AV Club, The Wrap. Okay. They really support how studios felt like they expedited the breakdown of their own theatrical profits. And it was just talking about how Disney at times feels like, hey, we're going to try to find out why we lost
money. Yeah.
And it really kind of points to, and the article was kind of pointing to like, well, it's kind of a weird thing for them to be like, I wonder where this happened.
Yeah. Well,
what would you point it to?
I'm pointing to MCU. That's what I would point it to.
I think that's part of it. And I think the other part is actually, and we talk about this, and it's ever since we started this podcast. The issue was always we were in lockdown and it was COVID, right?
Yeah.
So I think the pivot was just happening, and it was funny because,
well, you know, when we started this podcast like 4 years ago, we were pivoting into like COVID, like we just had streaming services, whatever you wanted to watch, like on cable, whatever it was. And now it's just like, I would say like the past 2 years, it was just kind of like a struggle to get out of that. Because a lot of movies and like studios, they're like, oh, it's going to be in theaters only. Like you can see commercials say like in theaters only, or like just like go watch it in theaters. But then like what's weird about it is like a month later, they're like, catch it on Max or Disney Plus, stream it on here. So I think it's just like an interesting perspective that we're getting now.
Yeah, and I think the difference now is because streaming exists compared to like a decade ago, right? Like I think before for us, like it probably would have worked like 20 years ago in the sense of movie came out, didn't release on DVD, Blu-ray, but you had to buy it again.
Yeah.
Versus you are already paying for a service, it's gonna come on, and I do feel that way too. It's just funny because reading like the quote, let's see, Tim Robinson saying, we're all trying to find the guy who did this. Studios like Disney weren't thinking at the time that we would change or disrupt the theatrical experience when pivoting to streaming.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they assumed that instead let's see. In the words of former executive Kevin Mayer, instead they assumed that they would profit off consumers' ability to choose. So it's weird because when you think about it, you're like, oh yeah, at the time you're like, well, they had the option to go to one. I'm like, I think that was the issue.
Yeah. we didn't have the theater option for a long time.
Yeah.
And I think, we always poke fun at like MCU, but they're like a great example of when you overdo something in a sense of like, they were dropping TV shows and movies like out of the ass in 2020 and 2021. Like, that's where Harrison and I always joke about our fatigue, because we were just like, we were watching a lot of those shows and we were reviewing a lot.
We were, yeah.
Yeah.
And
so I think the caveat is like, yes, the consumer can pick, but right now in this economy, they're going to pick the cheapest option, because a movie theater ticket is expensive.
It is. And if you want the quote unquote full movie experience,
yeah,
you gotta buy stuff. You gotta buy like the correct seats. You gotta go at the right time. It's just like you go back to a point where you're like, oh, this kind of sucks.
Yeah, and it was exciting pre-COVID,
mm-hmm.
right? Because we used to go to midnight showings in college and like just stay up late and like talk to each other afterwards. And I think that kind of dwindled out again with MCU, with the last two phases have not been that way, have not been that intriguing. I think I know we are picking on MCU. It's just easier because it is a very good example of they have built up all this, like they have built up the plot point for us to enjoy for the Infinity Saga, and then now like us talking in our group chat, we're like, what's the direction of this, right? So that's not gonna pull, right? Yeah.
But it's been fun to see like, oh, there's other movies that people will rush to go see in the theater, right?
Oh,
like Barbie, Oppenheimer. Like there was a period where it's like, oh, this is cool. So I think it's slow. I feel like it's a slow thing where eventually it's like people are probably getting tired of being inside, but also the convenience is there, right? Enough for like, oh, well, I don't think I care enough about the show. I'll just wait until it goes on streaming. Well, streaming now also is having different avenues.
Yeah, and merges, and it's just getting like complicated. It's like cable all over again, I feel.
Do you feel like that's also why I feel like right now we are in that transition of like, not like we're going fully back to theaters, but like it's nice to have
half
an
and
option.
half. It's nice, yeah. And
now
I mean, like Redbox is like out of the picture now.
That's right. Yes.
So it's just like, okay, once that's gone, like you truly have to go digital. And and I think another example would be Star Wars, because they did a lot of TV shows on Disney Plus, right? Mandalorian is a great example of something that was peak moment in 2020, kind of died down a little bit as the seasons went on, and you're kind of just like, where's the plot? What's going on? Because I think Baby Yoda at the time was kind of like the moneymaker, right? Season 1 peaked up, and then like you get to season 2, you get to Boba Fett, and it's just like, huh? So like Star Wars is like another.
I think the Boba Fett part in Mandalorian was hype, right?
Yes, but not his own show.
But not his own show.
Which we did talk about in our.
We did have a review.
Yeah.
Was that one of the? Was that an episodic one, or was that the full one? Do you remember?
I think it was the full one.
I'm not checking, but I'm just curious.
A full review.
Yeah. I think we only did like a few, and I think the one for sure I know we did episodically was Loki.
Loki season 1, yeah. That was, and I think What If too.
Oh, I think What If too. See, like.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I think some shows or some IPs need the time to build up. I do believe that. Like, I know we've said that before. We're like, what was it? Internals? The Internals could have been a show in that it's introduced. We say this all the time, and it's like, or I still say it.
You still say it.
I do still say it, and I'm like, there's so many. You're introducing this whole new cast, and it was good. Like, I think it was a good cast. I think it's just how they. Shot the movie, and I'm like, okay, I think it just needed more time.
They also got a lot of big names in there too.
Angelina Jolie, yeah, that's right. She was one of the, I can't remember. See, I don't remember.
No,
I see them all, but I don't remember, like, I know their powers, I just don't know their names.
No, and I think it was just like, wasted potential because it could have been, you know, a 12 episode season. And then that's where you can drop Harry Styles instead of like an end credit, you know, because they did do that.
They did
for him. Mm-hmm. But
where's
now
that going?
Exactly. So I'm just like sitting here. I'm like, where? Is that going?
Wait, yeah, because Eternals came out.
Oh, I think 2021.
2021, yeah.
Like September or something, right? October.
They did that whole thing. They had like the whole I forgot what they're called all of a sudden, but like the hand is now it's now a thing.
Statue. Yeah.
And I'm like, they left. See, it just feels like I know like that Kit Harington was in this too.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Richard Madden, Jim. Yeah. The cast was honestly really stacked, and you're like, oh, this is really cool.
And then it turned out to be a 3.5 movie and my butt was starting to hurt after halfway through it.
It was.
It was a long movie. It was a long movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know like what's his name? Like it was like the Kingo. I forgot the actor's name also.
Oh yeah, I forgot the actor's name.
Hold on, I'm on the list. Oh, Kamali Nanjiani. Yeah. So I know his thing was like, remember how he was like super buff, like out of nowhere, and then but then now he explains like, oh, it was kind of when you hear interviews about it, he's like, yeah, kind of unfortunate with how the whole thing played out. I'm like,
he had to go to therapy, because there was so much hate. Which I mean, we were kind of part of that, but like there were people who were like really nasty on the internet.
The thing is, I wouldn't say it was like I wouldn't put it on, and I may be talking back now. I don't know what I've said in the past at this point.
Yeah,
I don't think we were that harsh. Talk about on the plot and like the movie itself versus like the cast. I think the cast was fine.
No, I think the cast was fine.
I think it's just like what they were given. It's like what they were given, right? The direction. Yeah. I actually remember thinking it was more unfortunate that he didn't get that much of a role. But they brought all of them up equally, felt like. But then like when you watch the movie, you're like, oh, his thing is really like sides, like plot C.
He's not
like even
a
plot
sub-story
B. Like,
character,
Like the idea of him was like, oh, he's like movie star like throughout the time. Like, I thought that was cool, but that was it. Like there's really no other movie.
He didn't grow. There's no depth to him.
Yeah, so that was unfortunate. Do you feel like? Do you and your husband feel like certain movies now you will contemplate ongoing?
Yeah.
Like more so now?
More so now. Like Deadpool and Wolverine is one where we're like, I can't wait for like a month or two for it to be out. Like I have to go see it now.
Yeah.
But I think in like, you know, this past year we saw Dune 2 in theaters because that's just like one of those movies where you just need the correct sound system.
Yeah.
You
that's
know,
what I've heard too.
So same with Oppenheimer, Barbie. So I think we're seeing less like superhero movies in theaters, but it's just about quality, right? What you want to see in like the theaters, like right in here, right now, like you can't have spoilers versus like, oh, I can wait a couple weeks, a month or two.
Yeah.
You know? That's how I feel I've been watching movies.
Yeah. I think I do the same now. And I think it's really because I just know with Marvel quality, it's okay to just wait until streaming. Right?
Yeah.
And it's knowing that
Deadpool is like the exception right now.
Right. And that's because I love Deadpool so much.
And apparently it's going to revive MCU because they watched like 40 minutes of it in the UK.
The press.
And like the press is just like, it's going to revive MCU. It's going to like do something. And I'm like, really now? But I don't want to get my hopes up.
I don't either. I'm going to, I feel like I've heard that before all of a sudden. But, no, I believe that there's potential for that to happen. Right?
Yeah.
I believe there's a lot of potential for it to happen. I don't want to be like, oh, Deadpool is not the new standard for MCU movies because that's not going to happen.
Oh, that's not going to happen. No.
It's rated R. There's no way they're going to do that. Yeah, I don't think so. But I'm excited regardless. And I've heard, I did hear about articles saying like they let early access for like press to watch 35, 45 minutes of it.
Yeah, it was like 30, 40 minutes. Yeah.
So I can't wait. It's like what? A couple weeks.
It's like 2 weeks. Yeah, as of recording.
Oh, I can't wait.
Oh yeah, I'm excited.
See, there's moments like that where I'm like, oh, go.
Oh no, go ahead.
I was gonna say there's moments like that I'm not. See, if I care enough about the property, I'll go in theaters. Mm-hmm. But I've learned that the general mass can wait. That's the thing. Yeah. But I also agree. It's just now we're at the point of having so many streaming services that sometimes they're like, oh, this will go here. Majority of the time it does go to like Netflix, and then you could rent it on Amazon Prime. But it just does feel like when you're at home locked down, it was easier because you're okay, cool. I'm not going. The cost of spending, I feel like, was different because you're like, oh well, I'm not going out as much. Mm-hmm. I can spend a little bit more here.
Yeah. And I mean, like a movie ticket now, like a regular movie ticket, not even like IMAX or anything, is like $12 to $15.
Yeah.
And I remember it used to be like 8 to 10. I'm like, why? Why did this inflation just up everything?
Yeah. I actually still remember like matinee was like probably like $5, $6.
Yeah. It's like $3 to $5.
And then 8 to 10 was probably like the standard seating.
Yeah.
But I think IMAX was probably like 10, 11.
IMAX, was like $12, I remember. But now IMAX
but now it is like
$20, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
Something crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like doubled.
No.
We may be wrong about this because I don't buy it enough now at this point.
Yeah, me too.
What were you going to ask?
I was going to say, anime-wise, because I know we're like, there's a lot of anime movies that do release in the US, but like a shorter period of time. Mm-hmm. Do you think the anime studio or even like the Japanese like business is more successful? Because like when you think about it, anime movies in Japan, they go like they skyrocket into like the millions, or like it's just like quicker to skyrocket over there. And then when they release it here in the US, it's obviously going to be like 2 to 3 months later. But so many people are willing to go see an anime movie. Like for us, it was Haikyuu. That was like the most recent one that I can think of. I think Blue Lock, the
drop,
that's gonna drop. Nagi's like side story. That's kind of a thing. Mm-hmm. So I'm just curious to see like what you think about anime, kind of like Japan, Asia business versus kind of like basically Disney US. The scope is obviously different. The scope is different. Yeah.
Because if we're only focusing on like anime, right? I believe it is different in the sense of it's a cultural thing to me in my head. Yeah. Because and not even like anime is like normal. It's just normalized more in Japan. But when I talk to like because I do work with some Japanese coworkers, and you can tell like when I talk about anime and like reading manga, I'd say 1 out of 4 actually does that, and then the rest are just like I'd say like normal like people, and that even if you talk to them here, like normal people here, they're like what's that? But to them it's just more like they wouldn't like give me a side eye. They're just, oh, you read that? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
It was like, oh, I haven't read since like way back when, right?
Yeah, it's more casual.
I think it's just more casual. While here, it's like, oh, cartoons. I think that's still like this. It's more, and it's still there. Like that stigma is still there. It's like a little bit more anime is a bit more mainstream. So I think because it's more mainstream here now, though, I think that's why you're seeing a spike of like movies being released here, maybe.
Yeah.
But also an increase of like things becoming a movie, because I think because that's the thing. I used to go watch like the Dragon Ball movies, Dragon Ball Z Super ones back then, or before Super. Like they dropped like Battle of Gods, they dropped like Resurrection of F, and those were all movies before they made Super, and then Super just readapted those. But I think that it kind of pushed for Super to become a series,
like a thing.
Yeah. Because it showed like there was interest, right? And I feel like movie, like for them when they drop an anime movie, sometimes it's that, or because they know a product is very hyped or doing very well, they're like, let's just get some more money. I think that's really what it is at the end of the day. Yeah, but
also they kind of change the way like it used to be seasons, right? Like Demon Slayer is a good example of like, season 1 was great.
Yes.
And then, the next arc is a movie. And then that kind of hypes you up for the next season.
Yeah.
So forth. So I think they changed their formula a little bit even, just to follow kind of like the trends.
I think I would like to say I don't think any other anime has done that. Like, I really do believe that Demon Slayer was the first property to actually be like, hey, this is canon and we're going to make it a movie. Like, this plot point is canon and it's going to be a movie.
Yeah.
Even though down the line they made it into a season, which I think that was, again, I wish they just kind of stuck to that, but that's my little gripe. But they were the first one to do it. And I think once they did that, other studios were like, or other animation studios were like, wait, we can actually do that? That's okay?
Yeah.
I think that's where it changed. Because it's like you went from like Bleach, Naruto, and like One Piece.
Even One Piece, yeah.
No, for sure. They were always one weekly. And then they were like, oh, we have to have something. I think it's just the culture of like how animation or anime has changed.
Yeah.
To transition to be like, oh, it's okay. Because now we notice like burnout. Now we notice like the work culture is really bad. And I say now because I just know, I'm sure it was always just been a thing, but now it's more like, wait.
Now it's like memed out, which I know it shouldn't be.
Like Mappa, for instance, right?
Is like a great example where it's just like they're like churning out so much. Started during the time when they took over Attack on Titan, and then they had, Jujutsu Kaisen on top of that.
Yeah.
It was just, I feel like it was a lot for them.
Yeah. And I think that's the other thing is like, for those, like for instance, like Attack on Titan specials, right? Those specials at the end were only released on streaming, like Crunchyroll.
Yeah, Crunchyroll. They were movies. They were basically
movies, but see, we didn't have to go to the theater for those.
No, we didn't.
And I think those were normal for us. Like, I think growing up, that was normal to me for anime. Like, if it was in theaters, the run wouldn't be long, or I couldn't find a place close by. But I think now it's a lot easier to find. Not that,
because there's a lot of marketing now for it online, like anywhere you go. Yeah.
It's more mainstream now. Like, honestly, it really is, and I think that's fine. It's good.
Yeah, no, it's great.
But
Meg Thee Stallion is a big old weeb.
See, I'm telling you, it's just generationally now.
Yeah.
All the famous people that we know are like NBA, NFL. They do. Some people are like they watch anime and the demographic is not there. Like the casual watcher is like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
What are they talking about? Meanwhile, we're like, yeah, dude.
They're like, hell yeah.
It's great.
This is great.
So did I answer your question?
No, I'm just kidding.
What was your question? I feel like we like. Okay, I was like, I feel like we like branched so far, but
it's fine. It's fine branching out.
I guess now though. Do you find yourself like waiting for streaming still though? I feel like I do it more. Yeah,
I think I do it more. Like I feel like I have like all like the main ones where, it has a sprinkle of like everything, right? Yeah. So I don't really like seek out new shows that often. I think I like to stick to like things I know. But if it has like great reviews, like Fallout, for example, is one where it's just like, oh, I didn't play the game, but Amazon made this so well that I just kind of got hooked into watching it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think like streaming services do help because they just churn out so much.
Right.
But it's also like a licensing issue. Yeah. Like Harry Potter used to be on Netflix, but now it's on Peacock because I think Peacock bought out all the Harry Potter properties. So Netflix is just like, oh, we gotta just drop this.
Yeah.
So my frustration with that is just licensing and like where to find stuff if I want to go back and watch it.
Yeah, I think we're at the period of like everyone's still trying to play. Everyone has played catch up and is now trying to solidify their ground on like what they have for streaming. Streaming's just a thing now, and it's just a new version of cable. I think that's what we have to accept. That's like our issue. I think that's why I was like, it was interesting to read this article and that like we can see where it has started, but our issues now are totally different.
Oh yeah.
I feel like it's still there. It's not saying it's gone, but I feel like there's a new. To me, it's the rise of like internet cable. It's really what it is to me.
And I'm sure there's gonna be some billionaire that's gonna like think of something else outside of streaming, and like it'll pop out in like 5 years, and we'll all gravitate towards that, and then it's just gonna be a whole new roller coaster to go through. Like I need someone really rich. If you're just popping into this podcast, I need you to make like one area where all the streaming services can just like flow through.
But here's the thing though. Actually, out of curiosity, like, do you mean like just into one platform, or like just one
like a
platform you pay for?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not like in all these tabs where I'm like, where do I find this? How do I watch this? And it's like a mix. Like anime is now in the mix too. Like anime is just spread out everywhere. It's not just on Crunchyroll.
Yeah, that's
which
true.
Is so funny to me. I'm like, Crunchyroll merged with Funimation to have like one of the biggest libraries, right? And it's ironic because now Disney is just like, oh, we're in this game too. Oh, but then like, you know, Disney Japan is different. So as a US user, you have to go on Hulu. And it's just like, what the hell?
Which Hulu finally did merge, like finally is migrated into Disney.
Disney, at this point. Yes.
It is still Hulu, but you can watch on Disney. And I think I've noticed like there is a flow. See, it's this weird thing of like, okay, now there's things on Hulu I can watch on my Disney subscription. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Have I used it enough? Not really.
But then like, you can only find like dubbed stuff sometimes on Disney.
There are some, anime. But there are some now that are subbed.
Okay.
It takes a bit. See, it's weird. But there are some shows that are not up there. Because I only found, and I might be wrong, but I could have sworn I did this and I was like in Disney. I was just curious, and I think I clicked, what's that show? Holy shit. It was one of the old animes that at the time didn't have sub, but when I clicked it, it did.
It did. Okay.
And it could have been a glitch. Who knows? If I go back now and it's not there, my bad. I don't know. But if it did, it shows it could be done.
Yeah.
So
it's crazy.
But what they did though, so Disney does what they did is they went back to the old style of episode 1 is dubbed, episode 2 is subbed, it's episode 1, but it's the second. It's a totally separate episode, right?
Yeah.
I don't remember if Hulu still does that. If they've always done that.
I think it does. They've always done that.
Okay, then yes, it's just that system still.
It's so annoying.
Oh, that's right. Crunchyroll was the one that fixed it. Yeah, Crunchyroll was the one that fixed it and put it into the
a separate season, basically.
Not even. No. They were able to like put it like you can change it within the movie player. Yeah. But so Hulu isn't that, and that's another issue of like each streaming service has a different play, like how you have to play with it. And I'm like, this is annoying.
We're just all flipped around right now.
Yeah. But will I still buy into these services for like a month so I could watch something all in one go? Probably.
Yes. The answer is yes.
They can't retain me for that long.
No. I think the only consistent one is like Crunchyroll, really.
The only consistent one for me is Crunchyroll. I think I still keep Netflix because my wife still actually watches a good amount. So I'm like, it's fine. Did you ever unsubscribe? Because I know we talked about it. We both subscribed for like one thing.
Okay. So I unsubscribed for like a long time, like a good like 8 to 9 months. And then I resubscribed because my husband was like, I need to watch XYZ. So I got grandfathered into the cheap version of like the middle tier. And then my husband had to test something for work and then ungrandfathered me outside of that tier. Right. And I was so pissed at him for like 2 weeks. I held on to this grudge for 2 full weeks.
That's right. I forgot that's what happened.
So now I am mad.
You're in the normal masses.
I'm in the normal masses.
No, honestly, because I'm still in that tier, but they slowly are bringing me up to like the standard price.
The standard price.
It's just gonna happen eventually. I'm just riding this out.
It's like your taxes is just like increasing until it gets up there.
Yep.
No, but don't worry. I was so mad at my husband. I was like, how dare you not check the username?
That's unfortunate.
It was.
That is actually unfortunate.
It was so unfortunate. But yeah, I still have. I think Netflix and Crunchyroll are like my most consistent.
Yeah, me too.
And Hulu.
I do the Disney one. With Hulu.
Oh, the with Hulu, yeah.
I did the one that's like below yours at the time. I don't know if you still subscribe to.
No, ESPN. I still do.
Or whatever the third one is now.
Yeah,
I know they've
the trio.
changed it up. Yeah.
It's ESPN still.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So that I still have that because it's the occasional time where we will watch. I still watch some Star Wars stuff. Maybe not Acolyte. I know you are.
No, I am, but it's not like I'm not watching it because it's like Star Wars.
Are you watching it for
the enemies to lovers?
Is it? What's his name? Manny Jacinto?
Yeah, I'm watching it for him. I'm also just watching it for the.
I want to let you know. Sidebar. I told my wife about this. I'm like, there's this new show. It's not the greatest, but it's getting carried by like these two actors. And it's like, because you said enemies to lovers, I'm like, it's actually the trip to Veronica's and it's perfect. She's like, wait, who's the guy? I'm like, have you heard of this guy? She's like, I don't think so. And I showed her. She's like, I showed her like, yeah, and there are those like clips or
the
like
memes and clips.
The edits, those edits.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and she's like, oh God, he's hot. And I'm like, yes. Do you see that? I'm like, do you see that shirtless point in the water? I'm like, that's not fair.
You're like, I gotta compete with this guy. No, yeah, I'm watching the Acolyte, but not for Star Wars storyline. It's for the tension. I'm here for the tension. That is all.
Good stuff. That's all I got. I just really wanted to like get your thoughts on like I additionally wanted to get your thoughts on like how this started, but see, I like how we literally went through like just
everything,
how everything's transitioned. You didn't have to prep for anything; it just worked out.
No, you know what I was scared of? I was scared that you were gonna be spiteful and we would talk about One Piece. Like that was what I was scared for some strange reason. In my mind, I was like, "Are we gonna be talking about theories? Like, what are we doing?"
See, mind games. Can't let her know your next move.
Don't worry, I'll be spiteful for next time.
It's fine because I got time. But that's all I got. You got anything else? You want to add anything else? Don't you love streaming? Don't you love like watching stuff?
Love it.
Entertains us, right?
Yeah, it does.
But thanks for tuning in. You can follow us on all our socials at NgoVo Convo and NgoVo Convo. If you're on YouTube, hit all the buttons on the below, like subscribe, all right to left, right to left, right to left, right to left.
Everything.
Comment down below if you had any thoughts, like on like streaming, on how we're at. Do you like this? Are you still just gonna do it anyway?
Yeah.
Are we locked in? Are we stuck?
Are we okay? Are we stuck?
Okay? Did you like this video? I don't know. Just hit all those buttons right to left. But
yes.
And you can check out our other videos because I know we've been for some reviews for sure because that's how this whole episode started. But other than that, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.